Okay, so I got the fenders all hung up and ready to get hit with some epoxy primer, but I decided I might as well do it at the same time I do the hood. And before I can do that, I have to weld up these two holes here. So now I got to find some copper pipe to back it up. I want to TIG it, and some way of attaching it to the back. I've got magnets lying all over the place, so I'll just use some of them. But I got to find a piece of copper pipe first. Okay, so I've patched up the holes. I've used a little disc there to take it down to more or less smooth. There's still a little bit of you can see a little bit of a outline of the hole. I might just give it just a little bit more, but I don't want to grind too much on there. I think I might just let the body filler take care of that. Here's something else that needs repair. That's not actually a hole there, and I've made it look a lot worse than it is by sanding off the paint. It actually makes it look more dished than it actually is. But if you actually look at it, it's pushed back probably about 1/4 inch at the center, and actually the edge is actually even pushed back a little bit there as well. So assuming that's not different on the opposite side. No, it's flat on the other side. So yeah, that's actually pushed back a bit. So I'm going to have to do some work on that. I'm not going to build it up 1/4 inch. So I'll go and I'll grab my stud puller, and see if I can pull that out some. At least bring it up enough to need a minimal amount of body filler. I'm not exactly sure what to do with that edge. It might come up a bit as I'm pulling it with the stud puller, but it's not going to come up completely. I don't know. It might just have to get built up with body filler on that edge, but because it's only out by 1/8 of an inch, nearly. Jeez. Okay, well, I'm going to look into this, see what I can do, and fix that up. Next thing to do after that is, I guess I will rough up the surfaces on this, strip the paint off of this. I don't know if I'll take it right down to bare metal, but I'm going to take this blue stuff off because it's some unknown paint, and I swear it looked like it was brushed on, or rolled on for that matter. Okay, there's the back side of the weld. I just cleaned that up. I used a cutoff wheel, just the edge of it, to knock down the weld a bit, and then I used this quite flexible sanding disc to clean up the weld, the red balance of the weld, and I think it looks pretty good. Certainly good enough for the inside of a hood. You can see what the oven cleaner did. It took off that grease quite nicely. It also took off the paint and even took some of the primer off. So it's probably, well, it might be an effective paint stripper, but hopefully it's not going to have any side effects on the paint here. Anyways, I guess I got to figure out what I'm doing with that front corner, that corner actually, and then I guess we'll probably try and strip this thing and hit it with paint. Okay, so not the perfect way to repair it, but I got it, the dent pulled most of the way out to the point where it was probably about 1/16 of an inch. So I slopped a bunch of putty on, and I'll end up sanding probably 90% of that off, and then we'll be done, at least that hole. And I think I can safely use this hood. Actually, now that I think about it, I think there's a dent. Yeah, there's a dent right there from a nail gun, of all things. Otherwise, there's going to be a bunch of little touch-up things, but I think a lot of this stuff isn't going to become really obvious until I strip it and prime it. Okay, predictably, I couldn't just leave it at that. I took out my one of my blocking blocks and put some 80 grit on it to knock this down a bit. And you can see right in the center bottom, it's still a little low there. I also have to get one of the round ones to touch up this corner here, because I couldn't really get in here very well with the block. But it's also low over here as well. But I think we're getting pretty close. I'm probably getting a little ahead of myself here. As you can see, Pretty much got rid of the gap on the bottom of the thing there. And if we look here, this actually looks pretty good right there. You know, what little it's down by, it's only down by probably a small fraction as well. There's a bit of a spot where I didn't get it quite to the edge. But I am probably getting ahead of myself by doing the filling right now, but I wanted to see how it would turn out. A lot of people like to strip the you know, whatever it is they're painting, in this case a hood, strip it down to bare metal, hit it with epoxy, and then do their bodywork on top of the epoxy. Some people like to do their bodywork right on the bare metal. I don't have enough experience to have an opinion on that one there. I just did this because I'm impatient. Okay, so I've been experimenting with a couple of different methods of paint removal. One was these paint removal discs. I got these ones from Eastwood, but I think you can get them in quite a few different places. And the second was, well, I've got 60 grit in the air orbital sander right now, but I started out with 80 grit, and I found that 80 grit was a lot slower than the paint removal disc. 60 grit is probably about comparable. And some people, I've heard of people doing this before, and they were worried about surface finish. And certainly, you know, like this surface finish is a lot smoother, but I don't think that this is gonna be an appreciable problem, especially if you're hitting it with primer and then base and clear as well. And in my case, I'm going to be hitting it with primer, then there's going to be body work, then there'll be another coat of sealer, and then base and clear. So, well, really, the reality is that the sealer will be just another coat of epoxy paint. But in any case, these sanding discs are considerably cheaper than those paint removal discs. So I think I'm only going to use the paint removal discs in places where I can't get at with the sanding disc. So I'm going to get to it, see how far I get. I actually want to knock off, but we'll see how I go. Okay, so I tried a third method of stripping paint, and that was just a wire wheel in my angle grinder. And I gotta say that it's a lot faster than either the other two methods, sanding or using one of those paint stripping discs. And also leaves kind of a nice shiny finish on it. I did not use it on the large areas here, mainly because they were stripped on this side, but also because I still am a little nervous about heating up the metal and potentially causing it to warp. That is one thing about those paint removal discs. They generate a lot of heat, whereas sanding generated little to no heat. So, in any case, my back is killing me, so I'm going to knock off for today.